I just smile. I just smile. Okay, so we'll come over here and make sure that it's working over here. Make sure that it's live on all of them. And yep, not lagging, which is good. Refreshing, refreshing. There we go. And hopefully that will come through very shortly. Okay, here we go. And hello, Lynn, in the chat. Okay, it is working. It is working indeed on all of the, except Twitch, which will come through shortly, most probably. And is that all going good? Yeah, it appears to be all working well. So hello, Dream Farm. Hey there. So hello, everyone. I'm Supersight, as you all know, and one thing that you probably didn't know about me is that I am a teenager who has autism. So I thought I've been planning to do this stream for a while. I thought about it. I first thought about doing it in October. I'm actually really nervous. It's like do. I don't know. I like before I wasn't, and then it's like as I like type in the title which says I have autism. It's like it's just I don't know. It's just anyway. But this year, okay, there we go. And oh yeah, so oops, I'm uploading at 10,000 kilobits per second rather than that. There we go. Okay, but that should be okay. So yeah, okay, and then hello everyone to the stream. I will answer your questions in a bit. I'm just going to go through a bit. So yeah, it's yeah. Wait. I'm just gonna move the chair up a little bit. Okay, so it's just me and my regular self. Just with the cheeky smile as always, with my sub count there, the time there, and so hopefully it's not lagging or buffering. And that I accidentally forgot to drop there we go. Hey, there we go. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, good to have you all here. So, I just thought I'll just talk a little bit about it, about like autism from my perspective and that, and like I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just I've never actually said ever before on my channel that I have autism. But I thought about it. I first thought about it in October 2019. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I should actually do a video or a stream about that. I haven't, there are some videos on YouTube. There's this guy, there's this wonderful guy. I should link you to him. And he does incredible, really, really insightful videos. He goes around, he's brilliant, and he interviews all these people with all these different conditions and that, and does an absolutely amazing job of it. And yeah, I was watching a few videos, one of his and a few other ones before I started this stream. So yeah, it's good to have you here. Now it's I don't know, it's a bit strange, but this is the same me. This is how I do regular, streams. This is hopefully it's all coming through. It's giving me a little bit of red, a little bit of orange. There we go, but hopefully it should still be working. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I've never mentioned it. It's sort of something that I've never sort of made. I mean, some of you may have guessed it or figured it out. It's not something that I haven't talked about it, and now I'm just repeating myself. I need a structure. I need a structure. But yeah, welcome everyone else to the stream. Good to have you here. So I'm just thinking which order that I want to go through the different issues in that. So as you know, I do YouTube in that, and I've done all right. I've done all right on YouTube. In terms of I've got we're growing the channel. We've got to quite a cool point, and 32,971 of you are subscribed, which is awesome. And so it's I don't know. It's just So yeah, and you're welcome to ask questions later and that. So okay. So a few things. Now, first of all, autism. In fact, I should just read through a few things out about it first. Now, first of all, no two people with autism are exactly the same. There's massive ranges from very, from high functioning autism, to really severe autism and that. And so there's a massive difference in terms of. In fact, I'm just gonna resort to reading out some information about it so you can just hear it. Okay. So this here is on the Wikipedia, and it says autism is a developmental disorder characterized by difficulties with social interaction and communication, and by restricted and repetitive behavior. Parents often notice signs during the first 3 years of their child's life. These signs often develop gradually, though some children with autism experience worsening in their communication and social skills after reaching developmental milestones at a normal pace. Autism is associated with a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Risk factors during pregnancy include certain infections such as regular toxins, including vaporic acid, alcohol, cocaine, pesticides, lead, and air pollution, fetal growth restriction, and auto something diseases. Controversies surrounding other proposed environmental causes, for example, the vaccine hypothesis, which has been disproven. Autism affects information processing in the brain and how nerve cells and their synapses connect and organize. How this occurs is not well understood. And the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM 5, combines autism and less severe forms of the condition, including Asperger's syndrome and something. Okay, this is okay. Perseverance Development Disorder, not otherwise special. PDD NOS. The diagnosis. Okay, so this is. There we go. Globally, autism. I'm just going to skip over a little bit. Globally, autism is estimated to affect 24.8 million people as of 2015. In the late 2000s, the number of people affected was estimated at 1 to 2 per 1,000 people worldwide. In the developed countries, about 1.5% of children are diagnosed with ASD as of 2017, from 0.7% in 2000 in the United States. It occurs 4 to 5 more times more often in males than in females. The number of people diagnosed has increased dramatically since the 1960s, which may be partly due to changes in diagnostic practice. The question of whether actual rates have increased is unresolved. So that's from the Wikipedia. And this year I found it was more a better sort of overview of it, because, anyway, this is from Autism Speaks. It's autism or autism spectrum disorder, ASD, refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by the challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. According to the Centers for Disease Control, autism affects estimated 1 in 54 children in the United States today. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes, most influenced by a combination of genetics and environmental factors. Because autism is a spectrum disorder, each person with autism has a distinct set of strengths and challenges. The ways which people with autism learn, think, and problem solve can range from highly skilled to severely challenged. Some people with ASD may require significant support in their daily lives, while others may need less support and in some cases live entirely independently. Several factors may influence the development of autism and is often accompanied by sensory sensitivities and medical issues such as gastrointestinal disorders, GI, seizures or sleep disorders, as well as mental health challenges such as anxiety, depression, and attention issues. Indicators of autism usually appear by age 2 or 3. Some associated development delays can appear even earlier, and often it can be diagnosed as early as 18 months. Research shows that early intervention leads to positive outcomes later in life for people with autism. So I just thought I'd read that out, that some of the different statistics and whatnot, understanding about it, and that. So, and welcome everyone new to the stream. Good to have you all here. And one sub before, and CJ Reset 2 that joined. So, for me, I really struggle with conversation, communication, and from the outside, from you guys watching, it doesn't seem like that at all, because I just go on stream and I look, I seem to have it together pretty well, but it's totally different. It's not the same as in real life. Streaming in real life, it's not, in real life streams, no, but it's not the same thing. I don't know, because it's a whole different concept in the sense that with streaming, you're sort of just talking to yourself. Like, if no one's watching, well, you are talking to yourself, and whether 1,000 are watching, you're still in your given situation talking to yourself, but then of course you guys are watching, like right now. But it's not the same as talking with actual people, and that is something I very much struggle with. There are some people that I can talk very fluently with and don't have, issues in that. But there are a lot of people that, like, just most people, that it's like, I find it extremely awkward, like, when you know, I just like approach people and talk to them. I find that extremely difficult, and even sometimes when I do, often I find it hard to, because the thing is, I know that there is obviously common ground between, like, everyone, but it's difficult to find it, and sometimes I find it's extremely awkward with conversations, knowing, like, how to balance it, when to, and it's sort of, I've got better at it over time, but there's certainly lots of people have, like, most people that don't have autism are much more fluent and much more better at it than I am. So that is one thing that I do struggle with. Another thing is, it's I don't know specifically that it's any given factor in that, but for example, with sort of just thinking, I think, I mean, everyone, thinks differently to an extent, but as in, like, I'm just and again, this is not necessarily specific to autism. Like, obviously there's people that don't have autism that struggle socially, that have, like, lack of social skills, and obviously there's people that don't have autism that still, there's always going to be people that don't have autism that share the traits, but for example, one thing is regarding thinking. I never stop thinking, never stop. I just always thinking, always just going through just thought after thought after thought after thought after thought, trying to, like, think of all these sort of questions I have, or like things I'm trying to figure out, and I'm always thinking, just non-stop thinking. And, like, no matter where, like, whether I'm going on a bike ride, whether I'm in the shower, when I'm on a walk, it's just always thinking. And it's very, very, I find it very difficult to concentrate. I don't know. I find it, because I often find, like, what I'm thinking about far more interesting than the topic itself, and often it's just ideas of different things. Like, it's like, oh, like, like, oh, what if I did a video about this, that, and the other, and not just videos. There's all sorts of different things, like 24/7 streams, or, different, oh, imagine if the world was like this, so imagine this, that, and the other, and I just always am thinking, and often I then, like, go from thought to thought to thought to thought to thought without finishing a previous one, and I have to then retrace my thoughts, and I have got better at retracing my thoughts in that, to the first point, but sometimes I won't have, one thing that then is really, it literally ruins my day sometimes, but I try to let it not, as if, for example, I had a thought that I was thinking of, and I hadn't yet concluded what I'd finished thinking of, and then I can't remember what it was, and it's extremely frustrating. I remember there was one day in 2017, and I was in maths class, and I was having a conversation, and we're, like, as in, like, we're like, because we'd finished our work and we're talking and that, and there was something that we discussed, but there was so many different things that were being said that I was like, just leaping and thought to the next one. But there's one thing that I was gonna mention something about what they'd said, but I forgot what it was, and for the whole day, I just like, it just, like, the whole day, I just kept trying to rethink that thought, and I could not get it. And to this day, I never remember what it was. But to this day, I remember the fact that on that day, I forgot a thought. And it's frustrating. And these things that I am brilliant, and sorry, it's great to have you here, Mobile Studio, Isabel, there we go, Vicky, great to have you here. I will respond to you guys in the comments afterwards. There are things that I do remember really, but it's really frustrating, because because people always like say that, like, oh, you're a selective learner or whatnot, and it's like, no, I'm not. If I was a selective learner, I would choose to just be able to learn everything. If I was a selective learner, I want to learn everything. I don't want to just like for example, because often for example, people in real life would often point out that I like remember heaps of stuff in Heyday. They're like, well, exactly how much the prices and all that in the game cost and all that. If you spend as much time thinking about other things, then you'd learn them better in that. But the thing is, there's so many things that I remember that I couldn't care less about remembering. Like, I mean, there's just so many things that, like, for example, I remember the conversation I was having on a walk with, and this is not a like a whoa kind of conversation. This is just a regular conversation. And sometimes when I'm in the exact place that I had a conversation like 3 years ago, even just on Wednesday, I was walking past this place that I had this conversation, and and I remembered. I was like, I remember exactly what I talked about. And they're not the exact, quote for quote, but I remembered what I talked about with someone 6 years ago in that same location and that. So I have this weird sort of ability to remember these really crazy details, which is kind of annoying. It's like, who cares what I talked about 6 years ago in this place? And I'm not, again, it's not like some sort of conversation like really real. It's just like a certain celebrity I talked about, but there's just these things I remember. Or like, for example, on Wikipedia, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that the year that movie came out, I remember that. And it's like, and then people say that I have selective sort of, it's like, you think that I would want to learn what year this movie came out over what I need to know in order to pass this test. It's like, but it's just frustrating. It's just, my mind just remembers some stuff so well, and other stuff it forgets so badly, and it's really frustrating. But I've had a couple of brilliant teachers, and with that teaching style, I have absolutely flourished and got really high marks. So it is possible, but most given learning environments, and again, there's been massive developments towards learning environments becoming more friendly towards people with autism, people with all sorts of different, dyslexia, ADHD, OCD, and all the many different things. It's far more, capable, there's been far more programs than that. There's teacher aides and all that helping out, note takers, people helping out, that has made it far more learner friendly. But I still find it extremely hard to learn and stay focused, stay motivated. And there's just, even with videos, like I write down lists and lists and lists of video ideas. I'm having new ideas. I'm having more ideas than I can ever keep up with. And again, I've already jumped multiple steps in terms of, okay, what was I thinking about before? That's right. We're talking about the fact that that's right. And so there are teachers that I love that learning style, and it's just brilliant. Is this a bit out of focus? I think it is. There we go. This year. Remember this? Okay. Is it gonna work? Focus. Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's just, you get the general idea. Like that. Okay, anyway, but there are some that I learned so well in, but so few of those just naturally exist, and some of them really try, but there's just a few of them I just so click with. This learning style clicks, and what they've taught me sticks, and it's just, and I love that. I love being able to have learned, but I feel like often, like you learn stuff in such a rush, you don't learn it properly, and I really, it's really annoying not learning something properly. I love to learn it properly. And I used to love doing this subject, and sorry, I will get back to your chat. Sorry, I will get back to it. I'm just gonna do the first, 30 minutes maybe or so, just talking about stuff, and then I'll answer your comments in that. But now I'm on a roll. Now I'm on a thought roll. Then it's like, okay, we're sus at the start. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this. What am I gonna talk about? It's like, I'm on it. I got it. Okay, so. But yeah, and I loved economics. Economics was like my favorite subject. I loved economics, and I had a brilliant teacher that taught me very well, and I did well in the tests. I remembered the stuff. If you got me out a little thing that said like that like had about it, even though I haven't done it. Oh, there we go. It's focused now. In a while, I could still remember how to do a lot of what I learned, and I love having remembered what I learned. And I want to learn quickly, but I sort of have like it's like. Learning's such a tricky thing for me, because in a sense I love learning. Learning's so cool. It's so awesome to learn new stuff and to know new stuff, but often I find it so hard, and without a solid structure, I just so often like, okay, I'm gonna learn this, like there's like a computer programming language. I'm like, I'm gonna learn this, and just for like a few days I'm like just outright trying to learn it, and then I just couldn't get it, and then I'm like, I give up, and then it just stopped. And I can learn, but it's so hard to be in such a specific environment in which I can learn really well and really fast in that. And it's annoying because the average given environment does not not perfect for that. But again, that's not necessary. That's not a criticism, because I mean, I am an outlier, and it's really hard to like adapt the learning style just to fit me. And I'm not suggesting they should necessarily do that. I'm just saying, like, it is tricky. You know, obviously it's awesome when they can help out and do different things they can, but there's a limitation of how much they can change before then it would actually negatively affect like others. And so yeah, but I do love learning, but then at the same time, upon like there's so much stuff I want to learn, but I'm not good at learning this and that, and it's just, I don't know, it's demoralizing. It's like, oh man, maybe it's so tricky between, like, I love learning, but at the same time I've had so many experiences of times where I've tried to learn and I've failed to learn, and then I'm just like, well, oh fine, I just give up on learning. I know the basics in life. I'll just, if I need to figure something out, I could just ask that person and like lose incentive to learn. But I am always learning. I am always researching stuff, and I do love learning. So that's just one we strain, okay, of thought, okay, and I will come back to you. You have to go. No worries, CJ. Thank you for being part of it. It's awesome to have you part of the streams. You are epic, and it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. Okay. There we go. Okay, so sorry, and I will get back. I will read the chat. I will get back to it in that. Okay, there we go. So we are streaming on 9 different platforms in that. Okay, so that's just one element, and that of autism and that, and it's well, for me, that's one thing. This I don't know. There's so many things that I don't think of. Like, for example, oh yeah, like as they mentioned it in the video, it's like, for example, I often am very like energetic and very like, let's go, like, you know, like not to the extent in the YouTube videos and that, but I'm often like, let's go, but I just like, it's disproportionate in the sense that most of the people that I am around, when I am around people, their level of like any given event is just not that high, including like just even learning in that. Like sometimes I just like, you know, I genuinely be so excited, you know, I'll be like, I'm ready to learn, and I'd just be so excited, and then everyone's just sitting there like and then it's like, okay, I was just a little bit excited to learn. But yeah, it's there are, and in most given situations I feel like extremely awkward in that, and never comfortable to sort of, you know, but there was actually, which proved that it was possible. There was a couple of classes that I was in, and by the end of the year, I felt that those people fully, like, accepted how I was in terms of, like, when I just get excited in that. Like, they like, I mean, they obviously didn't, like, but I mean, it's, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's like, it's better to be more excited about any given event than to be less excited. Like, you might as well, and then if it turns out to not be exciting, well, you can just drop the excitement a little bit. But if you start off with a preposition that it's not going to be exciting, then it's like, oh, like, you know, and so that's why I just, like, but often, even, like, yeah, even, there, it didn't, my attitude of, like, ultra excitement in that, and I'd partly do it because then it would make, like, it would, there's so many different things that, yeah, there's so, and welcome Lisa on Periscope, there's so many things that I sort of, like, was just excited about that other people weren't, and it was just like, and then it was just sort of, it sort of just pulled me down to just not being as excited about it. But I could never understand why, like, it just, like, let's be excited in that. Like, I even would get in trouble sometimes because I'd go to class like excited, and it was unfortunate that it sort of turned out that way, and I'd like get in trouble for being like, as in, because I'd go and I'd be like, you know, I'd be like, I'm ready to learn, let's go, like, you know, I'd just be excited about it, but it didn't bode too well with their style, because, you know, then it was like disruptive in that, so then occasionally I'd get removed from the class, which wasn't good. But yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just sort of saying a whole heap of different things, you know, it's not really planned, it's just sort of as spontaneous as possible. I had a few things I was going to mention, but it's mainly spontaneous in that. So there's that, and yeah, so, but yeah, but there are environments in which, the very few in number, where I feel that I can be myself around, but it's very, very few environments, which is really sad, because the vast majority of my life I don't spend in those environments. But when I am in those environments, I just feel like it's just such a wonderful thing. Like, I can just be myself, I can be happy and all that. and it's just really, really nice in that. But like even in some situations, like I'd be sort of just very quiet as I always am, and just, well, yeah, it's crazy because you don't see that's it's not as I always am on videos. It's the opposite. It's like, let's go, but often it's not like that, and often it's just in life. I'm very quiet, awkward, and yeah, but yeah, it was, and I'd be in these different environments, and I wouldn't say anything, and there'd be someone that didn't even have autism, and there'd be other people, and they would just be horrible to that person, and it was just, like, so sad to see. It's like, what are you doing? Like, and just and then it just totally made me shut down and never want to sort of be myself. This was in a different environment to the school environment, and they'd be so nasty to people that weren't, they didn't even have autism, and they were so nasty in that. And well, it doesn't, whether they had autism or not, they were being nasty, and it was so awful to see. And so then that sort of made me sort of not want to, like, not say anything or never be myself. It's like, man, if this is how they treat someone that's more normal than me, imagine how they'll treat me. And so it was, yeah, it's tricky. It really is. It's finding those spots where you can be around. But often, like, for example, if you, need to go to a certain course or that, like there's driving courses or there's universities or whatnot, you have to go to those courses. You get, whether you can't decide who's going to be there, and that's so. It's been a tricky thing, just sort of like seeing how in so many situations there's people that are so very nasty, and so often I've just totally shut down in that because it's like I don't want to get them nasty at me. So then I sort of just think, okay, I'm just not even gonna, and so I just have like no expression. Like I just, so then, and that was sort of what I ended up doing at school. I would just go and because I knew that sometimes the teachers would not like my excited style, and so I'd just sort of go in and I'd be extremely sleep deprived, and so then I'd just get, and it was partly intentional because I knew that if I was too excited, then I'd just get in trouble. So I ended up just totally getting so tired that sort of my personality went with me, and so then when I would go, then I'd just be so tired that I wouldn't really be excited because I was so tired already in that. Which I don't know, looking back, what the best solution was, because my excitement was disruptive. Although I did it wasn't just like shouting out or anything random. It was just sort of like the occasional silly question, or getting to class and always starting it excited, which would then help me sort of be more engaged and interested in the learning. If I went to class every day like, hello, then I wouldn't, from the start, I wanted to make learning interesting. Mark Rober makes learning interesting, And yeah, so there was sort of, there's so many different things I could keep going on. There's so many different thoughts I have with things that I can expand on in that. But yeah, anyway, so there's that. Another thing, yes, was bullying. I have been bullied a lot in the past. So it's awkward. I don't know why, but it's awkward to admit it or just say it. But it's like, it was not good, and not to say that the bully, like, as in, not that later statement's hard to say, but as in that it's just, I don't know, it's just difficult to say, like, just, I've been bullied. It's really hard to say that, but I have, and it was very, luckily I haven't, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't really like to, I don't even like to mention it, really, but I was thinking, do I even mention it, but I thought I would, and so, obviously, I was different, and, different stands out, and often it can attract the attention of people you don't want it to attract, like bullies, and it didn't work. It was a really, like, when I started school in that, it was a really bad start, and I did get severely bullied in that, which was awful. And and then there was more than one incident in that. There was like, and one incident, the police had to get involved in and talking to the person that assaulted me in that. So that was awful, and luckily haven't been assaulted in a long time, which is good. And I don't intend to get assaulted in the future. So anyway, that's, okay. I don't really want to even talk about that, actually, but I just thought I'd mention it as part of the thing, because it's like, nasty things happen, and it's, like, it's not like it's just everything, there we go, and Young on Periscope. Hello, and everyone else on the YouTube. There we go, Lily and Tuss. There we go. Great to have you all part of the stream in that. So, there's, and it's not like it's just bam, problems are over. 2020, it's all solved. There's still, issues in that, but it is tricky being. It brings us problems. Having autism and that. It does. I don't know. It's really hard to sort of describe. I don't know. I sort of. There's sort of different things that, in fact, I'm just going to look at I didn't do many notes, I just do that, oh yeah, I've already mentioned those things right there, but it is tricky, and, obviously, I still get my fair share of, like, hate comments and that, not because I'm autistic, because until now, most of you probably wouldn't have even known I'm autistic and that, so, that's just, regular. You just get that in that, which online, well, in my situation, since I don't think it's been super evident that my autism has been super evident in my videos, I don't know, maybe it was, but it means, obviously then, often that means that, and yeah, it's great to have you all part of the stream and that, it is good to have you here, obviously, but I mean, I think with I've tried very hard not to let the hateful comments, the nasty, awful comments get to me in that, and I think I've managed pretty well in that, and it's very kind and nice of you guys to do the nice ones, providing the true and accurate, not just that was a wonderful video and you didn't even enjoy it, like, obviously, I want you to tell the truth, but yeah, obviously, and it's super nice reading the kind and nice comments in that, and that is part of the reason how, I can deal with it, realizing, actually, the vast majority of comments I get are positive and kind and nice, and, I'm not just gonna, obviously, I'm still totally open to criticism in that, and I get it, I get criticism, and rightfully so, from, like, in nice forms, like, hey, have you thought of, like, doing this a bit differently in your video to, like, why the beep don't you do this? It's like, okay, so, yeah, so, and I appreciate you that put nice comments and critical comments in a friendly way. I want to find out what I can do better, I want to find out what I can improve on, and I appreciate those of you who say it in a nice way, because if no one says it in a nice way, someone's surely going to say it in a nasty way. So I do appreciate those of you who do give, fair, criticism in that, in a nice way, and that. So I do appreciate that. Just trying to think of what else I want to touch on regarding having autism. It is really, really hard, and that, there's very few environments that I actually genuinely feel like there was. One way that it's sort of, there's been a few people throughout my life and that, and I felt, and what I've done is, like, so, like, there's these few people in my life and that, well, no, they're not actually in my life anymore, but, for example, I went on a cruise I went on 2 cruises, one in 2017, one in 2018. And in 2018, there's this one guy. He was it's like, it was sort of going to the, down to the kids area, and it's like really awkward, like, it's like, oh, like the other kids aren't gonna like me. How do I talk to it? That? What am I gonna do? And it was just so awkward in that. But it was ironic because after the 2017 cruise and that, I thought, okay, because by the end of the 2017 one, I had like made, because there was an area for like people that are like, I think something like 9 to 18 or something in that. What do they even call it? Like Kid Spot or something. And it was on like the lowest deck in that, which was awesome because it meant that I used to walk down. I didn't use the elevator on either of them ever, except I think the one time that you had to Dog Island. But I was like, no, I'm gonna walk every single time. And on both cruises, and this is despite I still ate what I wanted to eat. I still ate what I wanted to eat, which included unhealthy things like desserts and chips and that. On both cruises, I lost weight. Get that? I lost weight. I thought it was so funny. On a cruise, you go on a cruise where you can eat whatever you want, as much as you want for like it was like 10 days and then 7 days, the second one. and I lost weight on both of them. The second one I lost about a kg, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. But it was because partly I had gone down the stairs back and forth every single time. I'd go all the way to the bottom of the, because I'd have to go all the way to the bottom of the boat and then all the way to the top of the boat, because the cafeteria is on the top, the kids' thing was on the bottom. So if you wanted a snack, here we go. And then you weren't allowed to run. Okay, but that was quite fun. But anyway, after the 20, because at the end of the 2017 one, so at the start of the 20, I think at the end of the 2017 one, I got on really well with some kids, and I thought, okay, in the 2018 one, it went well last time. It always goes well. I know it ends up well. I know that they end up, being friendly. So it's like, well, going on to the 2018 one, go in with the mindset that they're going to be friendly in that. And I go on and I'm like, okay, I got this. The second I get in, oh no! And so it's like really awkward in that. But there was this, what was it? I'm just trying to think. So, anyway, there was the air hockey there and that. So, and there was like lines, and so there'd be a line of people, and there'd be the two people versing in air hockey, and then the winner would then move on in that. So I mean, the winner would stay, and whoever got wiped out would go to the back of the queue, and the next person will verse the winner. And then if you're good, then you just stay on as the winner for ages and that. So anyway, there was anyway, there's one guy, and he was just like, I don't know, and anyway, I was like every time he played, I'm like, you got this, you're awesome, and that, and not in an annoying way, and that, and anyway, he thought it was great in that, and so anyway, every time I'm like, you got this, buddy, you can do this, you got this, and then he'd win a few of them, and that, not because I was doing that, but as in, he appreciated that, so I just encourage it, but in a not annoying way, and that, so it which, I don't know, it might sound annoying, but every hour I'll be like, you're awesome, and whatnot. But it's sort of by me boosting him, then it was just I don't know, it's just if I could even if I could make myself feel great, then I could boost someone else up, and so that's what I did, and anyway and then we ended up being friends in that, and there was a few other kids that I made friends with in that, which was really nice, and by the end of it, I was really good friends in that, and then they had this like a award thing and that, and for like different categories in that, and I won 2 of the categories, and it was crazy. It was sort of like a revelation to me. It's like, I can actually do this. Like, I can actually, from people that a week ago were total strangers, actually become friends with them and earn their trust, and by the end of it, actually be high up, on their, actually be, like, friends with them, and actually gain their respect and friendship and that, and that was such a wonderful experience. And then, I go back to school, and then just back to the regular, okay, no. And it was just, I don't know, it's just, it's doable. I can do it, but it's just so difficult that often I don't. And so, like, in 2018, I just often, almost most lunchtimes, there was actually, no, I'd play Connect 4 with this one kid. I'd play Connect 4 almost every, so about, maybe 50% of lunchtimes, I would play Connect 4 with this guy. And so, sometimes it was a morning tea as well and that, but he wasn't always there. He was sometimes doing other things and that. But I'd play the Connect 4, would play it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And, which actually, because then anyway, because on the cruise they had Connect 4, and it was so fun, because I played with this guy in the preceding few months, and it was so good. I was just beating, like, virtually everyone I versed, and that was pretty funny. But And I'd do that, and then for the other half I was just by myself in that, and often would just have my iPad out with the Creator Studio, and would just answer, I'd answer all the questions of the day, every day, throughout a lot of 2018. So about half of them I was just by myself, and answering questions of that. I'd have my lunch and then answer them, and then half of them I was with that kid playing at Connect 4. So, and I still struggle to this day, but it's so weird, it's so crazy, because it's like a virtual world in that, it just, you'd never know that, you would never have, some of you may have guessed it, but I somehow doubt it, but, unless by chance, you probably didn't watch Super Sight, one of my previous videos, and thought, he's the guy that would really struggle to make friends. Maybe you did, but I would think the average person wouldn't, and great to have you part of the stream in that. So, it is a really, really struggle. It's a massive struggle. It's a huge, struggle. Making friends, socializing, extremely difficult. I find it super hard. There's one guy, and it's just so awkward. I just like we can't even talk. We can't even have a conversation. Like I mean, because I think he's got I don't think he's got autism or anything, but he's got some sort of I don't maybe he hasn't got a condition, but anyway, he's a little bit socially awkward as well, and I'm socially awkward, and then it'd just become extremely awkward because I'll be so like, oh no, what's he thinking of me? Because I don't like there'd just be big silence chunks in our conversation. Yet there's a few people that there's a few people that we can have silence and it's not awkward, but with this dude it was extremely awkward and that. But yeah, there we go, and yeah, you're right. There were some extremely there we go. Like Einstein had autism. There we go. It's just something different. There are a lot of people that like Kirk Douglas had ADHD, and that would not this autism and ADHD are different. But as in there's different people that did really well that have autism or have ADHD or whatnot. So yeah, so yeah, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, and thank you for everyone that's part of the stream. Good to have you here. Red Hot Dragon, Tell Us the Fox. There we go. Lynn, great to have you here. It's Batch, welcome, welcome. Okay, so, yeah, it's still, I still struggle in that, and I am trying to get better, but it's not easy to just all of a sudden, I don't know, because, I mean, that's just a few of the things, obviously, there's just so many things that I sort of just, like, it's just become normal that I sort of, like, as in, I don't even realize that it's, quite possibly because I have autism that it's like that, and it becomes normalized, and you forget it's even something that's different in that, and since I don't see heaps of people in that, then I sort of don't, I forget it's like, oh yeah, that's something that, yeah, they're good at doing it, I'm not, or they have it, I don't, to that, I forget, but there are obviously other ways in that, but that are two of the main ways, and that it is done. So now I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna go to. So I searched up. There's this website called Answer the Public, and I just searched in the term autism, and it's on Great Britain, and it's the top questions that people search about autism. So I don't I've read some of them and I don't know the answer to some of them, but I'm gonna read out a few of them, and if I can answer some of them, like are people like, for example, someone searched up like, which autism am I? So these are like the main sort of search terms in that people search in that. So like big searches, what autism means. There we go. What autism feels like. I don't know how do you like answer that. Like what do you mean by like what does it feel like? Like obviously, or like what autism looks like. Obviously, there's also a thing that's quite common in it with autism is lots of repetition in that. And another thing that I always do that is I always pace. I always pace the room. That's one. Yeah, that's actually that's the thing. There we go. I always pace the room all the time. When I'm on a phone call, I'll just walk around and round and round and round and round. And at like if there's room in the classroom and it was morning tea, I would walk round and round, and not just in like a like nothing circle, like the biggest possible loop I could make in the room, and I just walk around and around and I still do it here, and then often I'm told like stop walking, stop pacing, and it's like sorry, and then it's like it's sort of like, to me it's like, why, what does it matter? It's just how's it frustrating? It's just I'm just walking, and then I don't know, I think it helps me focus, it helps me think, and that even on the phone, like I was having a phone call today, I was in the garage. Pacing, just walking, learning stuff, I was just walking, and it's just, I just always walk in that, and I love repetition in that. I don't, I really struggle with change. Change. That's a massive thing. Even minor changes, like, are just, maybe that's why I have such a preoccupation with covering every little thing that changes on YouTube. See, this is what it was. They've changed it. Look what they've done. I don't know. But yeah, there's obviously I severely struggle with change. That's a massive thing that I find, and obviously everyone struggles with change to certain degrees. But I think for me it's a lot more. I feel that I feel a lot more affected by it, and it takes me a lot longer to adjust than if you didn't have autism. In general, of course, there's always exceptions. Just making that clear. But yeah, okay. And yeah, so there's that. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna, there we go. So there's that. Okay, reading through the chat, because then they make me think of different things. There we go. What autism means to me. That's a question, but I mean, but then people searching that up. So is that like a, because people are actively searching that, as in, yeah, there you go. What autism do I have? What autism is like? There you go. What autism is not? What autism looks like in a classroom? Which autism am I? Autism, which chromosome? I'm not sure which chromosome autism is. There we go. Which part of the brain is affected? Also, not autism, which age? So I think it's under 3 that you get like the symptoms, and then also there we go. I'm just gonna, there we go. Autism, which language? I don't know, like, as in, like, is that what the, like, this, when people query, this is just queries, the top queries about autism. When people search that, are they, like, looking, like, what is the most common things? Which probiotics, autism? Also, that is another thing. I did used to be on medication. I'm not on medication anymore. I'm just trying to think what year I stopped. I think it was 2012. But before that, I used to be on medication. Because yeah, I, because I was on risperidone and fluoxetine. Fluoxetine, I'm not sure exactly how that's said. So I had, I think it was like, I'm not sure the exact dosage in that. I think it ended up being like half of each of them or something. And that I originally had an OCD diagnosis, but then that OCD diagnosis got, like, they then changed that and like removed it, so they thought that I then didn't have OCD. Like, and so yeah, so they originally diagnosed me with OCD, and then they changed that away from OCD, so that I didn't show that I had it anymore. Okay, and will autism ever go away? These are the questions I'm reading, by the way, and I will read your chat questions in a bit. And will autism ever be cured? Will autism get better? Will autism Yankees? What? Okay, there we go. What? Isn't Yankees like a sports team in the US? There we go. And will autism get worse with age? There we go. I guess it would depend on A, what age you are, and B, it depends on the person, I would think. I wouldn't think, like, for everyone it gets worse, or for everyone it gets better. There's always exceptions. Will autism get worse? Autism, will my child speak? And again, for that one, it depends on what, like, generally, yeah, high-functioning people with autism, which is the majority of people. I am high-functioning autism in that, so I don't have it, like, severely. Like, some people have it, like, some people need daily help with it, and so there's a massive variety. And can autism be cured? Can autism get worse? Can autism be treated? Can autism go away? Can autism be inherited? Can autism be prevented? Can autism run in the family? Yes. Can autism develop? How autism can be misrepresented in the media? How autism is diagnosed? There's tests. Well, that's a very basic answer, isn't it? Okay, well, yeah, because I can't remember which test I had. Cause no, they do IQ tests. Oh, maybe they don't. Anyway, how autism affects learning in many ways. There's often it's much more difficult to focus in that. I find it incredibly hard, as I mentioned before. I find it incredibly hard to focus for long periods of time, or especially on stuff that I'm not interested in. If I'm not interested in it or don't see a reason to, like, be learning it, it's just so difficult. It's like, because then it's like, okay, not interesting, and then I just sort of think through multiple things that I'm just, like, always thinking in that. And, like, for example, when I learn, I have, like, I literally, like, just have, in one situation, I have a piece of paper, and every day, rather, because if I get a thought and don't want to forget that thought, I literally can't learn. I just everything is blocked out because I cannot afford to forget that thought. So I just fixate on that thought and basically can't learn or can't listen or can't take anything in. And that, so what, as a remedy to that, I have this piece of paper, and so every time I get a thought, I'm like, write it down, and I write it down. Okay, the thought's down, the thought's there, it's not going to go anywhere. If I need to, like, and I want to look at it again, I can look at it when I want to look at it, but I don't need to remember it. So then I can refocus on the work at hand, and that. Otherwise, it's just totally useless if I can't, if I have thoughts that yeah. So that, yes, okay. So reading through more of these questions on here. There we go. How autism works. How autism affects social development. Are autism and ADHD the same? No. There we go. Are autism and dyslexia linked? I would say probably if you have autism, you're more. I mean, no, this is just opinion. I don't actually know. You'd have to look at the different, like studies or statistics on that. Are autism and dyslexia linked? I think probably if you had autism, you're more likely to have dyslexia. Like I have dyslexia, but it's it's not guaranteed linked. And there's a whole heap of other questions. Like there we go. Like dyspraxia and autism related, or OCD and autism related, ADHD and autism related, or linked. There we go. And reading through some of these other questions on here. There we go. And and also I am right-handed. I'm not left-handed. Just if you're wondering. There we go. Why autism awareness is important? I think it's like because obviously 1 in 54 or 1 in 59 sources of some site. I think it's probably more like 1 in 54. It's probably increasing, or probably I don't know, but I think that I mean, it's kind of it's a well, I think it is growing, but and it's a sizable. That's approximately like one in 2 people. I mean, no, 1 in 2, 2 in 100 people. 1 in 50 people. Well, it's 1 in 54 as they've simplified it. Have it in that. So it's almost not almost certain, but there's a high chance that there's someone that whether you know it or not, has autism in that. So being able to, I don't know, just know about or just understand them a bit better, and that. So, for example, if they might take a bit longer to think of a question, or might be a bit awkward to be around, like me. It's not like because if you knew nothing about it, you might think, oh well, that person's not very friendly. I'm not going to talk to them again. It's like whoa, actually, and then it's like, and then if autism awareness. This is autism awareness in a bit, and that, then they'll be like, oh, actually that person has autism, and actually people with autism, not always, but often are socially awkward. So, oh, actually that might explain why they were a bit awkward. Not because they didn't like me, or not because they were like, not because of, all these other probably 100 reasons that someone might come up with as to why someone was awkward or wasn't fluent in talking, or maybe talked too much, or maybe didn't talk enough. They're like, oh, actually, autism may have that might actually be the reason why they're a bit socially awkward in that, and then there's just a better understanding, and then it just bridges it and strengthens it can strengthen the friendship, because they can understand why, rather than a friendship that may never be created because the first impression obviously isn't well, for me, I don't know. I'd like to think that my first impression with people was a good one, and that, I try and just respectfully, talk respectfully, and that, and, keep the conversation balanced. They talk, I talk, they talk, I talk approximately. It doesn't matter if they talk more, it doesn't matter if I talk a little bit more. I try, but it's like, I'm always analyzing these signals, like, when it's like, I'm super analyzing, like we were having a conversation, it's like, okay, is they wanting to finish this, or what do they want to talk about instead, or, it's like tricky. But, yeah, it does help if people are aware about autism and understand, like, what as the result of some people having autism, and how that affects how they act. Okay, there we go, and reading through more of these are the top queried ones, and that, there we go, and reading through these. When is Autism Awareness Month? April. Okay, there we go, and there we go. I'm reading through all of these, like that. Okay, I think that will do for those things there. Now, I'm going to take some of your questions in that, if you would like. Now, I'm not going to answer all of them, and that, A, because there might be too many, and B, some of them I don't want to answer. But anyway, good to have you here. Alex Rainbow 1, and everyone here that has been here. Sorry if I haven't, and thank you, Young, for following. Sorry if I've, and we've got off a few subscribers as well. That was not the intention of the stream, but it's a nice benefit. Not a benefit. Well, I mean, it is a benefit. What's the word? Side effect. Okay, there we go. Reading through these chats and that. There we go. I didn't even know you had autism. It was not evident. Oh, right. Okay, mobile. Well, yeah. So, see, there's, obviously, but again, and it's super, because it's almost, like, crazy, because, like, in a sense, my whole YouTube channel has almost been based on sort of suppressing it in a way. It's not like I actively think, I must suppress my autism, but, it's not like I'm, like, I don't know, like, but it's not like it's something that I need to mention every video. By the way, everyone, I have autism. It's like, I'm super psyched, I mean, I have autism, that's a part, but it's not the only part of me. And so, and so I haven't sort of seen a need to say it, but I thought, well, maybe it would help, and maybe it would, help you guys know a little bit more about it, and, hopefully other positive things will come of this stream, and that. So yeah, and Nova Iceman and that, hello. There we go. And sorry if I miss saying you in the stream chat. There's quite a few of you. So there we go. David K, there we go. And okay, there we go. And Feist, welcome. There we go. I'm reading through all the chats. There we go. And there we go. Reading through them. Thank you, Lynn, for moderating. And there we go. Good to have you all here. So we got 12 on YouTube. We don't have any on the other platforms, but I think a couple have stopped by on Periscope and that. Okay, so and then I might do a very long answer because it might make me think of something in that. There we go. So okay, and of course, lots of jokes I say. Yeah, that's another big thing. Lots of jokes I say in real life. Well, even on this, like, and understandably sometimes, well, yeah, I mean. Because then, and obviously some people think, oh no, that's not funny in that, and sometimes it's not, but it's sort of awkward at that sometimes, but yeah, so then it makes me like really skeptical to say a joke again. It's like, well, then especially in real life, it's like, oh, but then last time I said it, they didn't find it funny, so they'll probably not find it funny this time and that. But yeah, anyway, I still find it really cool that there are environments. I know there are environments in which I flourish. The fewer number, I found camps especially, I often bring the best of me comes out. The bubbly epic, well, like the energetic me and that, it's funny, feels free to tell jokes, feels free, and I think it's partly because just as a whole thing, just all the people, like just everyone, whether they have autism or not, is just relaxed. The whole point of a camp is not to, just think about work or think about school. It's to enjoy, and I think that, and since people like that, everyone's in that situation, everyone's more relaxed and chill and open and that, and then it also leads for a wonderful environment for them to be more friendly rather than like just full out busy all day and then the last thing they want to hear about is someone that has autism. I don't know. I get it. This is just absolutely, again, it's just, I'm just saying stuff. Okay. But yeah. And there's always exceptions. There's always, anyway. Okay, there we go. And Daisy Thomas. Hello. There we go. I was friends with a kid with autism in primary school. Nice. There we go. And autism is not associated with particular chromosomes. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. There we go. And going through, reading all these chats. Okay, there we go. Yankees is in the US, means Northerners in other countries. Yankees means America. Oh, right. Okay, interesting. Okay, that makes sense then. I thought it was just a sports team. I was like, how does that have anything? But yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, there we go. And just about you have autism. I remember you saying that. Yes. So yeah, there we go. Good to have you here. There we go. And EDTS, you have it as well, and glad you're open about it. Well, up until this point, up until the 24th of April 2020, I have not even mentioned it, and that, but I am now, and I will be happy to talk about it in future streams and that. Obviously, it's not going to be the primary focus if I'm doing a gaming stream. I don't want to, spend, 30 minutes talking about it, but, I mean, obviously, you're welcome to ask me questions about it then, and, I mean, I won't necessarily answer them, but I probably would, if it's just a couple of questions, but not for ages in a gaming stream and that. Mr. Mellon and that, hello. There we go. Joseph YT, hello. Reading through the chat, there we go. And, did you have speech delays when you were young? WDHP on Periscope asks. I don't think so, no. I think I was speaking by the time I was 4. And, no, I didn't have speech delays. There we go. Okay, do you know what musical instruments are used in Charleston? No. And Davis, welcome to the stream. Okay, there we go. Reading through the chat. There we go. There we go, Mr. Mellon. There we go. I can't believe how many. It's I can't believe. I don't know. It's sort of 1 in 54. Isn't a large, well, it is and it isn't. It's totally relative. It's a lot of people. 1 in 54 in the world. I think that was in the US. That's a lot of people, though, But then, as percentage-wise, it's not that much. But as a lot. But, considering only 9 are watching it, it's I don't know. Maybe it's because, I don't know. Maybe it's because you sort of enjoyed like energy in that, which is partly like, you know, just like my personality linked with my autism was like, let's go, and maybe then that made you enjoy the channel more, and so that's why there's a disproportionate amount of you that are watching that also have autism watching this right now. Who knows? Okay, there we go. Reading through the chat. Okay, there we go. And Jeff. There we go. So you never stop talking. Oh, I do. Yeah, in real life, it totally depends who I'm around. But around strangers, most of the time, I'm generally the quiet one. I generally don't say anything. I don't like, I don't know, it's just really awkward with that. You know, like, it's a struggle to, like, when I'm, just, and also eye contact. I totally am really, like, I super struggle with eye contact, like, you know, and I've been told multiple times, you know, to show respect, you're supposed to, look people in the eye, and I find that extremely difficult, and I've given up on that. I mean, there are people occasionally I do, but it's not like it just makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. Even, like, just saying hi to someone. I like to be friendly and that, so, like, when people, like, I'm walking past people on the street now, I like to say hi, but I find, it's like, okay, you gotta, you know, it's almost like a process, like, okay, you can say this, you can do this, and then they come across, like, hi, it's almost like, it's almost unnatural, because it's so much effort to, like, just say it, because it's so uncomfortable, I'm just not used to it, but it's like, no, do it, dude, and then it's like, and then, you know, it's, and then sometimes, you know, like, you know, a hi could turn into a conversation, and then it could be awesome, you know? But yeah. There we go. And Ox, welcome to the stream. Hello. There we go. Sight, make some more smile thumbnails. I do a few. With this one, I recorded just before I started. I'll lie. But yeah, right, typing it, I was like, oh, it's like just really awkward. It's like, go live. It's like, ah. Anyway, we're live, and it's worked out pretty well. Okay, there we go. You know, so, and again, there's obviously other parts of my life that autism affects, and that some that I don't want to mention, but other parts that, like, I just heaps of it that I don't even realize or I can think of, because it's just, I'm so used to having it that it's just everything, like, my life just becomes normal, as in from my perspective, and so you're like, what's not normal about it again? And you're like, oh, that's right. Oh yeah, and you especially notice when you see people, like, having a great conversation easily. It's like, man, I wish I could do that. You know, okay, you know, there we go. Reading through the chat, there we go. You're a talker, Jeff. I am a talker. Right. You know, I bet then again, on streams I do it non-stop, but I mean, you need to, and, well, you don't have to, but often they do. The nature of the stream, you don't just want to be silent. Okay, there we go, but I'm awake because raining hard here. I got tornado warning. Hope you're okay, Ox. There we go. And my sibling is 12, and they still can't say a word. They're on the extreme spectrum of, oh, right, well, yeah. It's, yeah, really sad when that happens, like, as in they can't speak in that. It does, you know, obviously, there are people that happens to, yeah. Okay, and yeah, even on, yeah, also another thing is, yeah, like, yeah, okay, well, we'll come back to that one. There we go, and, you know, going through, okay, there we go, we've caught up to that. Random content gaming, welcome to the stream. Another thing that I find, there we go, and I wish I could go back to Georgia, such a good place. You know, there we go, yeah, mate, great place. In 27, it was chill. There we go. Okay, so, and welcome to the stream, McRae, good to have you. Another thing I really struggle with is showing and feeling emotion, and that, like, as in, no, not, I mean, I find it really difficult, like, when people, like, you know, often say really sad things, and I just don't feel sad, and it's, I should, but I don't, and it's really, it's annoying. It's like, just feel sad, you know, it's like, but it's really difficult. Now, sometimes I can. Sometimes things that, like, just don't, like, it sort of might just be like a, I don't know, like, just a thing that most people don't get sad about, makes me sad, you know, and, yeah, but it's, yeah, because I'm just thinking about all the things, like, you know, there was a YouTube video about Geo George a while back, which was very interesting to watch, and a whole bit, another guy that on it mentioned, and I was like, yes, he was like, he's like, I'm happy, but then when I think about the fact that what's making me happy now is going to be gone, then I feel sad, and then it's true for me. I remember, like, even from when I was very young, like, after it had, like, an awesome day, like, it'd been, like, a party, or, like, a family gathering that'd been super fun and that, I would then go to bed and be extremely sad, because it was over and that. So, but as the Dr. Zeus quote says, you know, I can't remember exactly, but it's like, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. I like that quote. It's hard, I find it extremely difficult to, like, put into place in that. And then there was the other one, Oh, that was the Winnie the Pooh one. There we go. We didn't realize we were making memories. We were just having fun. But yeah, I find it extremely difficult to sympathize. It's not impossible for me to do, but in most given situations, when people get really, really sad about stuff, I find it really strange, and I feel really bad about it. Like, even people, like, on the stream, often on streams will say really sad stuff, and I don't know how to respond. It's just sort of like, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I'm sorry that's happened. I just can't. I just naturally don't feel sad about. I don't know. It's just it's not in sync with, like, the majority of the population. Where if someone says something sad, they all feel sad, and for me, it's just like, it's like I want to show sympathy to you, but I can't really force myself, to feel sad in that. So that's a really difficult thing. And often it's really awkward. There'll often be sort of, like, comments which I've, like, just don't know how to respond, and then I'll be like, okay, sorry, yeah, and I just feel really awkward about it. So that is one thing. Okay, there we go. And okay, going through there we go. There we go to the thing. Okay, I don't think so, Mobile. I don't think so. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so it's yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of things that then it affects. It affects a lot of things in that, and one tries to, well, I do, to mitigate to the level that it can affect it. So, like, not let it affect it as much in that, But it's hard to sort of bring my sort of personality down, in a sense, like, and like, it's just by default. Normally, it's sort of like, just, like, almost like it's crazy because I often wake up, like, almost always, not always, but often excited and happy in that. Yet often I go to bed not that, and so it often, the events of the day often end up leading to me. And also, I also, like, have huge expectations in that on myself. Or, like, I need to complete this. I always need to be busy. I always need to be productive. Always need to be doing stuff and that. And then I get really frustrated if I stop for, like, even a little bit in that. That's one thing that I'm trying to not get as, like, annoyed at myself for every time I don't meet all those expectations, and not have as many expectations on me in the first place in that. But yeah, it's. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I've got better at retracing my thoughts, but I'm not perfect at it. I was thinking back to the previous one. Oh yeah, regarding how, like, it's like I wish other people were, like, as enthusiastic as and as excited about just life in general at any given moment. Like, I wake up, it's like, let's go, and then I look so quickly. It's like, as you realize, like, no one else is like that. It's sort of just like, it's like, I might go to bed, like, down here, and then wake up, it's like, let's go, and then you sort of, like, things happen in the day, and it's just sort of goes, yeah, by the end of the day and that. But it is really tricky because it's like, it's, and of course, it's, I don't know, I guess it's like, what determines appropriateness of, because often, you have to be like, appropriate in a given context in that. But what determines the appropriateness of that context isn't the majority, because that is what it feels like. Because, like, often, like, in like a school environment, like, everyone's just. And so then if you're like, yeah, it's like, nope, not appropriate. But I mean, if everyone was like, let's learn, let's go, and just knuckle down and just learn, and just, like, lots of banter, but lots of learning, which is what my economics teacher allowed, and why I could flourish so much, because they would allow that to an extent, so I could still. Because if, for example, like, I came really excited for a lesson in that, and then just like told, no, go back out of the room, come back in. That's literally what I got told sometimes, and it's like, just come back in, not excited. But it was, I considered it, and still do consider it, thinking back on it, as, like, a healthy, positive excitement, which would help me learn. Like, it would help me learn, because I'd be genuinely excited and enthusiastic about learning and that. But then being told that I had to, like, basically, like, there we go. It almost, like, turned that smile upside down. Like, is it just, rather than excitement, have to, like, just, whoa, nope, it has to go on, like, it has to go way, way lower than that. It was really difficult, because then it'd sort of be like, okay, it's sort of, I then got the message, no, it's a bad thing to be excited, it's a bad thing to have a personality like that, and then slowly I just sort of became sort of more normal, less, excited, less enthusiastic in that. Which I don't know. It's a really tricky one in that, but because I mean, I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I wasn't like it's such a tricky one because of course, yeah, if it does hinder the learning of others, yeah, I could totally understand why it wouldn't work for me to do that and that. But if it didn't, which I didn't consider it to be, because it was just like sort of keeping it interesting, keeping it entertaining, just the odd banter question, and that, just sort of excited, enthusiastic in that. Like, teacher asks a question. I know, sir. I know the answer. It's like, I mean, I didn't see how that could like not how could that like stop someone else from learning when I'm just excited to answer a question. I don't know, but anyway, so that's something I found really, really hard, and still do, knowing the balance between even in any given situation. How excited am I? Because if you're too excited, some people literally just cut you off. They're like, okay, too different, way too different. There we go. And so it's like, okay, yeah. And so then rather than like, yeah, let's go, it's just like, hey everyone, how are you? Yep. And it's just like I'm bringing myself down, but it's sort of like I'm suppressing like the, yeah, let's go sort of thing, which is it's really difficult because I've always been a big believer in being yourself. Obviously, a healthy self in that. So like, yeah, but yeah, but I wanted to be myself around people in that. So I didn't want, and it's assuming that I had a good personality, not a bad personality, like where I just like would swear at them in that. I don't just swear at them in that, but like obviously that wouldn't be good, but it's like, if you, and I am very aware that by doing this live, I am taking a risk, and, obviously, I might think, oh, actually, no, I didn't agree with that statement that I just said 5 minutes ago, let alone, in a year or 10 years, and be like, okay, yeah, but I think that it will do more good than harm by me doing this stream and that. So, yeah, it was sort of like the balance between, like, because if it's hopeless if you can't be yourself in that. But I thought, providing you are like decent and reasonable to be around, it's good to be yourself, and that's why I so loved those events where I was around people that actually. But unfortunately, I couldn't be around those people. And also another thing which even more complicates it is, you say, okay, well, around these few people, I can be myself. It's easier to be myself. The problem, but that's. And thank you for all the subscribers. But that's in that specific context. So, for example, let's say there's two people that I get on, and this is an example just from March, with two people I got on really, really well with, and we get on really well with at the start of March and that. And, it was a brilliant conversation. I felt that I could be myself, and I loved it. And I went afterwards, like, yes, I just had an awesome conversation. That worked out so well, and that. But, but then the problem is, you have those same two people with with just one extra person, the next time you meet, it's just not the same. The whole dynamic's different, and suddenly it's just oh dear, change, and there's a new person, changes everything, and even though it's like so minor, or even if just one of them swaps out, so it's still one original person plus a new one plus you, it's still like, oh, everything's different, don't like this. So, pardon me, it's still very difficult, man. It's still difficult. It's still really difficult. And yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better, but it is tricky. Okay, reading through your questions again. Sorry that I got behind again. There we go. I wake up both tired and happy and excited. When I sleep late and wake up early, I will be tired. If I sleep early, I wake up feeling excited. Right. Because I mean, generally, yeah. If the more up to 8 hours. If I sleep between 7 to 8 hours, or 7 hours, or like if I sleep 8 hours or longer, I'm like excited now. If it's like sort of 5-6 hours, it's less. I'm just more tired and so less emotions. But yeah. But if it's like 8 hours, like let's go. But obviously, often that's not helpful in that. It's cool for recording videos because then it's like, what is everybody? This is so exciting. Well, it really annoys some people, but other people love it. So it's yeah. Okay. Oh, no way, Mobile. I did not realize that. Well, thank you. Anyway, to everyone that subscribed. There we go. Okay, reading through the chat again. There we go. Sometimes I think people with autism are pressured too much to be neurotypical. Right, because, yeah, I haven't looked into it at all, but I know that there's sort of like a there we go, a disagreement between two of the, like, big sort of autism advocates between whether it's sort of like trying to
embrace autism, as what it is, or whether it's better to like cure it and normalize in that. Now, I have not researched enough, and I'm totally not experienced in the slightest to talk on it. In fact, I don't even feel that I even like like have any experience to talk on this, although except for the fact that I have autism. So, but again, just because you have a condition doesn't mean you know anything about it. You might break your leg. It doesn't mean that you're an expert on broken legs. That's why you see the doctor. But I obviously again, take what I say with a grain of salt, or as I like to say, well, I've said a few times, take everything I say with a 0.1 particulate matter particle. And so that's like an extremely small particle. So in other words, just I'm no expert on this. I am no lawyer on this, or it's not really a lawyer talk. I'm no medical doctor. I'm no autism specialist, autism researcher on that. This is just me. This is my experience for this specific person with autism. And since no two autism people are the same, then you can't. I mean, obviously you can take a few of the general principles in that, but again, it's not there. And it's this high functioning autism and severe autism are very different, like very different. Although obviously there's still some similarities, but it's extremely different. It's just not. It's not the same. And you can like listen to this and then think, aha, I know exactly how that person with severe autism works. Even people that are just like also high. It doesn't guarantee that based on what I say that it applies to them. Obviously, I reckon there will be overlap, but obviously everyone's different. Everyone has their unique challenges and their unique strengths. So yeah, just put that out there. But again, I determined that this hopefully will bring about more good than it will bad by the unthought through things that I've said. But that's the double-edged sword with spontaneity. Nope. Spontaneous. Nope. Yeah, that's the word. But what's this thing. Yeah, I don't know. Spontaneous. I don't know that word either. Okay, there we go. Okay, so most people with autism have a specific thing they're really good at. There we go. Do you also have such a thing? It's a tricky one. I used to think the thing that I loved was just like my physical ability, not in strength. I've always been weak, I still am. But and I don't go to the gym or anything, but I was fast. And at school, that's noticed. You're always, PE, you're always playing games, and if you're fast, that's like, let's go. It's quite agile. I could, and that was like a, yeah. But then as soon as I got to the point where, because I didn't take PE because you had to do so much theory. Yeah, PE and cooking were two of my favorite subjects in the world. I loved them, but I hated written work. I hated paperwork. Really did. I found them really difficult, and I didn't see the value in doing them, and so thus I wouldn't do them, and then I wouldn't pass. So anyway, I ended up stopping doing PE and cooking, which was really sad. I loved cooking, I loved PE, but you had to do so much stuff, like all these assessments on like alcohol or asthma or how the body works, and in cooking it was just all this theory. Like it's been like three periods, so like 2 to 3 hours of that stuff for like 40 minutes of cooking. It's like I loved the cooking, but not the theory. I loved the PE, the physical education. What the PE? That's what the P stands for, and the E stands for. But it was so much theory that I dropped them because I just couldn't stand it, doing all the theory in that, and so that's why I stopped. So that was when I was younger, but then obviously when I got older, when I don't do PE anymore, then I mean obviously I do walks and that, but as a not in like that situation that it's saddened me for quite a few years, the fact that it's like I'm getting older, and then it's like the environments you get used to and actually can kind of get good at and kind of master. It's like, oh well, you're older now, goodbye that environment. It's like, no, I was actually just starting to need a grip on how that environment worked. I was just starting to figure it out, and then it's gone. And so I found that really tricky in that. And then it's like, yeah, it's a tricky thing in that. And so then when it's like, when it's my birthdays, rather than being like, I mean, it's happy, but then it's like, no, it's like I'm a year older, and it's like I'm a year further. I'm a year further away, one more year disconnected from my past, and 1 year disconnected from those situations, and things keep changing. And it's like I'm just kind of starting to accept the fact that that's gone, and now the next thing that's gone. It's just it's just too changing too quickly, and it's just I find that really difficult. So much change, and just growing up so quick. It's just time just goes too fast, way too fast. 24 hours in a day is way not enough. Like in my mind, I need way more time to do everything. It's just crazy, and it's really difficult. It's really hard. And yeah, it's just like always like it's like there's always so much I want to achieve in a day, and then every year I get older, it's like, man, I wish I'd achieved more this year. Or oh, there you go, boom, it just hit 10. It's a tricky, it's a difficult thing. But it's yeah. But obviously I have then dedicated that time into, well, a lot of the time into becoming a YouTuber and that, and doing videos, doing streams, and doing the longest one, 10.5. Oh wait, no, we did the 12-hour Halo Pop one. That's right. Yeah. So I'd like to think that I was half decent at this. Obviously, there's so many people that are way, 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 way better than me. But obviously, I am also better than a lot of people also. So, I'm somewhere in the middle, And as in terms of a channel, and the sort of like more like near the top 10% in that. But yeah, it's yeah, it's sort of it's something I struggle with. It's like, what am I good at? It's hard. It's for me. It's like it used to not be difficult, but now it actually it's like, oh yeah, what is it? What am I good at? It's tricky to sort of figure it out. It's like, I don't know. It's yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah. Yeah, there's like, yeah, there's some things that like there's this game called Gaga Dodgeball, and I find that super fun. And I'm actually all right at that, although I've got worse. I used to be better when I was younger, but yeah, that I was good at that. But yeah, okay. So, you know, I wish I always wish I was better at more stuff. But there's only a finite amount of time, and only a finite amount of time that you can use to practice or learn any given skill. At the moment, I've like thinking like a lot into 24/7 streams and that, and so that's my focus. Although I often end up having like sort of fixations of interest. Like at one point it was cacti, and I loved cacti. I read cacti books, and yes, the cacti. Another time it was rocks, and I love rocks, and yes, the rocks and that. Sometimes it's just brief sort of periods of time, like surge boards. Like yes, the surge board, but. But yeah, it's sort of different sort of interests in that. Although that's a bit, yeah, interest collections. I've always sort of loved sort of that has been a thing where I'd sort of focus on something intensely and then it'd be like, not interested anymore, and that, which I guess is kind of true of my channel, but not necessarily because of that reason, or maybe partly because of that reason, where I sort of find a game, I'm like, yes, and then I like a while later, it's like, no, I'm done. Like, well, yeah. Anyway, okay, there we go. But yeah, my attention span, there we go, is, there we go, not that great. But I can learn, but often it's tricky to learn. It's in only rare situations can I learn well. Otherwise, it's just, yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, reading through the chat. Okay, reading through the chat. And yeah, some things I, oh yeah, that's another thing that the comment. So this is from Ox. We go. I'm known for being smart. I have all A's and have been almost only 4 years in the US. But when I don't know a question, I pick up there. So yeah, but that reminds me. Yeah, I'm a very specific person, very literal. That's right, I'm very literal, and so there obviously be people things will say people that then I will interpret incorrectly because they say it and I take it literally and they didn't mean it literally. But that's another thing that is often, what you what, like it's you say it, that's how I'll take it. So I'm a very literal person in that, and yeah, and same with like that's why I would totally I get so frustrated in tests because they'd have these questions that were so there we go, so what's the word, open-ended, so broad, and it would frustrate me every single test because it's like I'd know, like some tests I'd know exactly I'd know what I needed to know in that, and I'd know what I need to know, but it was incredibly frustrating because I'd absolutely totally be frustrated when they had totally broad questions. Like they used to, there we go, like they used to have in English, they used to have like regarding like books and that, and it's kind of a running joke, but kind of like, and there was like, there we go, it was something like, what was the author's purpose, or here we go, why did the author write the book? And always to make money. would always be the answer. It was funnier then than it probably sounds now, but it was like just obviously because they just say like, well, there we go. Why did the author write the book? And that would just be my distinct answer. But not, but like for example, they'd have extremely broad questions like, what was the author's purpose or that. It's like I have no idea what the author's purpose was. Like this is what I take from it, but or like that they just have very, here we go, like even in economics tests, it would be like, I'm just trying to think of an example. Like, there we go. If there is if there's an increase in aggregate demand, there we go. What will happen? And then like I'm just trying. Wait, I'm just trying to measure this. So there, AD is that, AS is that, AD is that. There we go. If there's so I'd be like, prices will go up. Done. Like they have a whole page worth of like you can answer all this, and they expect you to answer that to get the thing. It's like if you ask me what will happen if aggregate demand will go up, I'll tell you. Prices will increase. Simple. Like done. I mean, obviously, if I did that, I'd literally get that absolutely frustrated me. In maths, I'd often know the answers, but I wouldn't show my working, and I was absolutely infuriated because I'd often get the answers in that, but I'd barely pass the test because it's like, well, you didn't show your working in that, and there was like an example in the subject woodwork of someone that had so you had to it was a mix of physical and like written stuff, and the person had they didn't even they didn't touch a tool in the shed, but they got a merit from the written stuff. That's how weighted it was towards written stuff. This is in woodwork. When you make things made of wood, they didn't touch a tool in the shed. They didn't make it or anything. They just did theory about, well, this is what it was. This is how I asked about it. They got a merit. And it's like, what? That's in woodwork and that. Without building anything. But then like in maths and that, there'd be people that would just like, they get the answers all wrong, but they'd have like the working, and then they get like a good mark, and then they'd be like me. It's like, but I got the answer right. And it would be like, show your working. I get told that like almost like, I think by every single teacher, show your working, show your working, show your working. So that was incredibly frustrating in that, because I was never for showing my working, or if they asked me a question, I'd answer it specifically in that. So anyway, one test, because I think it was an economics one, I was going to fail it because I just answered these questions, or it was, I just wasn't, it was, because I think at that point I hadn't been motivated with that, because it's just all these broad questions sort of things. So the teacher went with me, went with me through it, and asked me, like, so they'd ask me, they'd say, okay, so like, what happened if aggregate demand increases? And then I'd be like, price will increase. They'd be like, and what will prices increasing lead to? And they'd be like, oh, well then this will happen, and then like, kind of like, and like all the, and then like, different things like, and so then what will happen to employment? We're like, oh, this will happen. It's like, I knew the answer, but you can't. I just like, if they ask me a little, if they ask me a question, I'll give them an answer. Just like, but yeah, that was extremely frustrating, and there was so many tests that I did way worse than I otherwise would have done had they not asked me specific questions, and they always like expand on your thinking, right? It's like, what is this supposed to mean? I just give you, and that was extremely frustrating. I'll take it literally. They ask me a simple question, I'll give them a simple answer, even though they got like a whole page worth of space to answer it. And so that was, really, really, really frustrating for me. Okay. There we go. I'm not going to wake you again. I have to eat breakfast. Okay, see you, Ox. There we go. And, one hour. Okay, there we go. Reading through the chat, and, there was another thought. There's another thought on that I forgot where I was going with that, But yeah, I'm a very literal person, and yeah, okay, there we go. Going through the chat. Okay. You can't stream snipe me in this stream. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Semi! Welcome. Good to have you here. There we go. And everyone new. Cam, hello. There we go. Yoshi, welcome. There we go. Yeah, it's there we go. And okay, going through the stream chat. There we go. Sorry, I think it's good though if I get on like a good talking point. It's like, let's go. Okay, there we go. Just give me those questions. I'll give you those answers and that. And something, and this, I don't know. It's like, well, then why can't I do what I just do here, where I just keep expanding on that one? It's like, well, because often it wouldn't be exactly relevant in that. There we go. And Waldmar, there we go. Yes, there we go. Okay, reading through the chat. Okay, going through. I am reading that just real quick. There we go. And Okay. Okay, sorry. This is there we go. 14 watching. Good to have you all here. Yum. There we go. Cam, there we go. With my autism can be challenging with my life, but I'm really good at electrical. It's good. I'm glad that you're good at science. If you can find out what you're good at with autism, that's awesome. Because I mean, like, if you only need to be good at one thing, and that's that. I mean, obviously, if you're good at lots of things, that's better. That but obviously, a lot of people with autism, like, they want to focus in, nail in on a hone in on a skill, and they're just like just bam, they just come pro because they just like repeat it, and they're just experts in that. And if you're good at electrical stuff and you're good at it, that is awesome. And then it's you can get a job in electrical stuff, and that's really cool. It's really good that you know that you're good at it. It's really good that you are good at it. That's awesome in that. And if you can figure out what you're good at, that is brilliant. That is really, really awesome in that. So yeah, And one thing with the guy, I never struggle with ideas. I always have ideas. Always too many ideas. That it's always sad because I can't put all of those ideas in videos, but I try my best. Okay. And yes, it is NZT. There we go. Reading through the chat. There we go. And there we go. Thank you for being part of the stream, Yoshi. Okay, and Exxon, welcome. Okay, there we go. Going through. Okay, so there we go. And there we go. There we go. I want a t-shirt. There we go. Suicide Sale. Let's go. I think I don't know. I think that was from Zanzart actually. There we go. I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know. There's some. I don't know. It's sort of. It's sort of almost links with the copyright issue in the sense, but it's sort of like there's so many sort of phrases that I sort of get from other people in that, and then sort of kind of put my own twist on them in that. So it's not like like have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. That's because the reason why I did that. Well, Galadon used to do, well, he still does, and his videos kind of like that, and they would like make every attack a full attack. And then Zanzart also used to say sort of something like that. Like, no, he started his videos like I hope you're having an awesome, fantastical day or whatnot. That was awesome with that. So then I sort of got that idea of doing that and put it in my videos. So again, it's not originally like I just purely thought of that myself, But although there are some stream ideas that I've done that literally have been purely thought of myself, but often there's so much overlap between ideas where you kind of get it and you kind of put a twist on that. So I always feel like, it's not really like my original idea. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's tricky though. But yeah, it's kind of cool though how it kind of all links in. Okay, there we go. Jesper, I found out what I'm good at with autism. There we go. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. That's also awesome. I'm glad to hear that. It's great. It's so awesome when people, with or without autism, figure out what they're good at. That's such an awesome thing. That is really awesome. There we go. There we go. Nice. My brother-in-law with autism is focused on geography as well. Nice. Okay, so there we go. Okay, just trying to think of other things that I can mention. There we go. You're welcome to ask me some questions if you so wish. There we go. Now, I'm not necessarily going to answer all of them. Typical type welcome. But I will probably... I'll have an attempt at answering some of them. If you feel free to ask them in that. Because, I mean, it's not like as soon as the stream's gone, I'm never going to talk about it again. You can ask questions in the comments about it and that. And again, as I always say, take everything with a grain of salt. This is me. I do not represent everyone with autism. I do not represent anyone with autism except myself. So this is just me. This is just me, my experience, how it affects me. And obviously it'll be different for everyone. But I just, this is me, okay? So just making that very, very, very clear. I'm not representative of it. And yeah, have to inquire about every individual person with autism, to find out this specific thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of annoying because at the same time I don't want to give you bad advice in the sense like, okay, you should ask everyone with autism exactly about it and that, because then that might annoy some of them. So I don't want to leave you in a confused spot in that. It's like take, obviously listen to what I say and that, and use logic on it. Would this maybe apply to someone else that you know? If so, well, you could just test it and see. Well, this dude with autism called Supersight said this. Is this true for you? I don't know. It would depend on the person with autism as to whether they'd find that offensive. I wouldn't find that offensive. If someone came up to me and says like, hey, I'd find that. I'd totally be fine with that. I'd appreciate it if someone came up to me and said like obviously not. If the first thing, I guess, but and they said, hey, I don't, and they're like, I want to understand you better. And they're like, I don't know much about autism, but hey, I know a person that has it, and this is what is true for them. And then they'd like list out and they'd say, is this true for you? Which parts of it's true for you? And that. And then it'd be like, thank you for wanting to understand me better. This part's true for me, this part's true for me, this part's true for me, and that. And people are trying to understand me better, like, and trying to, understand how that affects me in that. I appreciate it. They're trying to relate, they're trying to connect in that. So I personally totally fine with that and totally appreciate it when people actually, ask, questions in that. And again, there's a right and a wrong way to ask questions, but I would prefer that they ask a question. And this, again, might just be me, speaking for me. I prefer that they ask a question in the not most best way than they just not ask questions there. I'd rather that they find out, even if they do it bluntly, that then they don't ask the question. I don't want them to be afraid to ask me questions there. I don't want it to be awkward for them to talk to me. I want it to be as unawkward as possible. I might be awkward to talk to, but I don't want them to feel awkward for talking to me. I want them to feel totally fine in that. They're welcome to ask about autism if they want, and my autism in that, and I'll happily explain it in that. But they're also welcome just to not even mention it. Like, most people I come into contact with, I never, like, I don't think almost anyone I ever mention that I have autism to, actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously, like, my family and that knows, but, and people, like, that, like, people that educate me and that need to sort of know those things to help better tailor how they teach me in that. But apart from that, I don't tell anyone I have autism. So this year is like whoa, this is like giant leap in terms of, like, never mentioning it on my channel for like 3+ years, and now it's like, hey guys. It's like, whoa, that escalated quickly. Okay, there we go. I mean, it hasn't changed, but I just haven't mentioned it. That's what's changed. Okay, there we go. I think every single thumbnail that Supersight has a face cam on, he's smiling. Supersight always seems happy in his thumbnail, and I like that. I'm glad you like it. But again, I wouldn't want to. I mean, oh no, I think there was a couple that I did like a or like a when I lost a bit or something. But generally, yeah, you're right. I do. It's kind of like I don't want to do it. I don't want to freeze on a frame that's not of me being happy or whatnot. Because, like, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to look silly. I want it to look, like a. I don't know. There's not like a necessary increase clicks, but I just want, like, if people are gonna see me, I want it to be like a good image in that. And that's why you put, like, on your wall, you put the best photos of you, not a photo of you like crying in general. I think. I don't know. Take everything I say with a 0.1 particulate matter particle. Okay. Okay. There we go. Coming through here. And reading through the chat. There we go. Okay. There we go. And there we go. Reading through it. There we go. What type of autism do you have? High functioning autism. So it's not. I'm not on the severe end. I'm on the high functioning end. I mean, well, I mean, that's like, as in where am I on the scale at the high functioning end? Okay. Battlelands dev stream, nice. And it's gonna be a lot of bros. There we go. And so yeah, there we go. So I'm just trying to think. Is there anything else I want to mention? And again, it doesn't mean that I can. But I mean, oh, well, no. There we go. I don't know. I like tramping. I like frozen fruit. I try to stay healthy. Well, I need to work on the sleep one. That's the one I don't work on. And yeah, it's still me. Same super site. Same smiley face, same person that will answer your comments, same person that's, what is up, everybody, and covers all these random changes on YouTube and that. Yeah, I don't really know what else to really mention. I think I've sort of covered most of what I was intending to cover, and it's gone good. It's gone well. Streaming at 10,166 kilobits per second. It's 10 megabytes per second upload, which seems to have worked in that. Okay, so yeah. There we go. I think I sort of covered everything I wanted to cover in that. If you still have questions, feel free to ask now or forever hold your peace. No, but you can still ask me them later, and I still will happily answer them later. And yeah, now that I've mentioned it, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it if you want. Again, from my perspective, not anyone else's perspective. From my perspective, just making that very clear. Okay. Yeah. So obviously there are struggles. There are, with, well, yeah, it's obvious. It's obviously, there's things. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There we go. And thank you for everyone that did give the stream a like. Sorry. There we go. There are obviously different problems in that involved. So I thought that maybe by this stream you will now know more about them in that, you know? So there we go. I hope that this stream, and probably by the time I say this, the stream will probably end in 5 minutes from by the time I say this. Knowing me, I always like, okay, so we're going to start the process of ending it, and then like 4.5 minutes later, still full on conversation in that. But yeah, I really have, yeah, it's, yeah, I think, yeah, I was happy that I made this, and I hope that it's informative, or you can at least understand me better if it's only the one person. But hopefully it can give you a better idea overall. Again, you have to always make sure and challenge that what I'm saying is correct, and obviously it's not going to apply to every, no, like, exactly what I said is not going to apply to any given autistic person. There's obviously going to be differences in everyone, but I think there will be a lot of overlap, a lot of general principles that if you say, hey, this dude called Supersight said this, does this apply to you? I don't know how you know. It's probably, there you go. You know, just in order to understand you better, I was curious. I know someone that else has autism in that, and you know he, you know, does. And again, I always like smile with that, but it's like that's YouTube. That's not necessarily real life, you know, and it's not real life. But yeah, I do smile in real life, but not nearly as much as videos and streams and that. But yeah, and yeah, then you can see if like but yeah. Okay, there we go. Was I late? There we go, watching a movie. There we go, welcome back. So I think that's sort of, there we go, going to mostly wrap it up. I don't really know what else to say. It is Autism Awareness Month. So yeah, blue t-shirt, which I have got on. I have got on a blue t-shirt. It doesn't look very blue, but it is dark blue, navy blue, like so, you know. And yeah, thank you all very much for being part of the stream. Vice, and everyone else that came on every other platform. To the 12 of you who were on YouTube. I hope I have answered your questions and given you a better understanding of how it all works. My voice is a little bit sore, but yeah, this is me, Supersight, you know, with autism, doing YouTube in 2020, and so it's an interesting topic. Well, it's obviously very much a topic for me because I have autism. It affects my daily life, so. For me, it's like, this topic, you know, but for, you know, yeah, so, yeah, but, you know, obviously, if you're watching this, you've probably seen some of my videos, and so you can understand me a bit better, and hopefully it helps to understand other people a bit better, and the chances that you know someone with autism are actually pretty high, I reckon. As when you know 200 people, the chances are one of them would have autism, at least one, so yeah. There we go, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, thank you all so much for being part of the stream, thank you so much, Lynn, for moderating. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed my videos and streams and that. I've done over 1,400 videos. And yeah, I've done like, I think over 100 streams. Yeah, easily. I did 95 Rushforce ones in that. So 95, it was over 90. But yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, thank you all so much for being part of it. I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, Lynn, for moderating. Thank you, everyone else, for moderating as well. And thank you. 55 likes. Wow, that's actually really a lot. That's a lot of likes. So thank you all for that. And there we go. We had concurrent viewers. Currently, just jumped from 11 to 15. Chat rate of 6. 408 playbacks. Average watch time 2 minutes 50. 55 likes and 11 concurrent viewers right now. So I guess that's going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for being part of it. And there we go. I'm just going to get the little gem. The little gem emoji. There we go, like this. Emoji, and just put it in the chat. You know, gem. A blue gem. Okay, there we go, like that. And go like that, and like that. Hopefully that. Oh, like, you know, bam, bam, bam. Bam. Yep, okay, like that. Okay, so yeah, thanks once again to each and every one of you who are part of this journey. It's always awesome and honestly awesome to have you part of this and part of this stream. I appreciate you for stopping by and taking the time to listen and to hear what autism is about for me, and then obviously the autism, you know, that the same, like, obviously, well, different, like, autism is autism, but as in it's different for different people, but obviously then hopefully that helps you understand a few people a bit better and understand me a bit better. So thank you all very much, and have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye for now. See you later. This is Supersight signing out. See ya!